Hey Tom, happy birthday. This is a blast from the past and just wanted to greet you from Fresno. It is March and I think it's going to be in the high 90s today. I am not looking forward to summer happening at the beginning of spring. Anyway, just wanted to let you know how much of an impact you made on my life and the lives of those that you ministered to, and also remember the fun times we had sharing an apartment with George and Paul as well. Those were some good days. Thoroughly enjoyed our time together, and we were a bunch of wild and crazy dudes. I remember the feats of strength where we would come in and try to lift immovable objects, having our contest to see who could lift the refrigerator. I barely could get my arm around it. This is Paul, Tom, and I when we lived together in the apartment at Fresno State. I mentioned that we lived together. That was back in 1974, 48 years ago. Long time. Anyway, there's some other stories, and I'll share a few down the line, but one of them that I remember is Superman. I don't know if you recall, but we would stand at the entry into our bedroom and pretend we were Supermen and dive upon our beds, and I think we ultimately broke the legs off the beds, and that may have been one of the reasons we didn't get our deposit back after we left the apartment. I was telling the story of the praying mantis we had, lived on our creeping Charlie, and how we used to catch flies, pull the wing off, put them in a pie tin with the praying mantis, and watch that little bugger eat. It didn't take much to entertain us back in those days. Sharing an apartment with three other guys was quite the adventure. One of our greatest adventures was the ability for us to survive when our roommate Paul cooked. His idea of cooking was if the directions called for the food to be cooked at 250 degrees for 30 minutes, his philosophy was we could eat much quicker if I cooked it for 15 minutes at 500 degrees. I'm not sure how many meals we had, but we sure had a lot of burnt offerings. Just want to let you know how much I do appreciate you and the impact you've made, not only on my life, but on the lives of all those you've touched. Beginning, some 48 years ago as believers at Fresno State, living together. I'm reminded of the times we spent praying together, having quiet time, memorizing scripture, deep in discipleship with young believers, all through the ministry of the Navigators. I'm also mindful that we made some pretty important decisions back in those days. You and Lynn Ann met there. One of our other roommates, George, met his future wife, Katie. And ultimately, I met Doris, all while we were in Fresno, ministering at Fresno State. Thinking back on those days brings a smile to my face, joy to my heart, and really the assurance that our journey we began ultimately will conclude in heaven. And that's the great hope that we have. So on this, your 70th birthday, from me to you, I just want to let you know that you're a good friend over the years. You have been a constant source of inspiration, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. So, Tom, happy birthday.